Hi, welcome to Rossi Audio. Second video of the day. I just finished up a support your artist video because it was great news that came in this morning. This video, however, is gonna be about Klipsch heresy 1, 2, and 3, or 4, or 5, or whatever speaker they have. It's about the heresy speaker. Um, there has been lately a lot of things going on online, a lot of discussions about it. They have been putting the Herseys up against other brands. And here's the thing. As much as it is a cult speaker, and that's all it is. It's a cult. It's an icon for what it has become. It's a hyped up piece of shit. Okay? Yes, if you like to listen to Diana Krall a cappella with no instruments, or maybe just a little violin or a saxophone or whatever, or any other female vocalist, and just listen to their vocals, I guess you have one of the speakers that you can use. But beside that, it is a piece of crap. First of all, it's a Klipsch. They make good speakers, they make bad speakers. But the Klipsch heresy is not one of the greatest. Okay, I know someone of you are going to say, it was meant to be a center channel to accommodate the horns. Okay. Like the horns needed more high frequency and mids. They had enough of that. What the horns also lacked was deep and low frequency, because they had a frequency cutoff, physical cutoff at 33 hertz. Then you take the heresy and you look at them and you go on to, and this is facts. This is not some just jumbo mumbo fumbo shit. This is facts. You can go to klipsch.com and their historical web page division part, whatever, and you can read up the specs. They have spec sheets of every model. The heresy is listed from Klipsch itself to operate physical operational and range is 50 hertz to 17 kilohertz. That to me is an incomplete speaker to use as a daily pair of speakers to listen to music. Because most music that you listen to, regardless of genre, goes way below 50 hertz. And they go over 17 kilohertz. So if you're, let's say, listening to rap, you are lacking a lot. If you're listening to hip hop, you're lacking a lot. If you're listening to blues, you are lacking a lot. If you're listening to rock, you're lacking a lot. If you're listening to metal or hard rock, you are definitely missing a lot. If you're listening to classical music, heresy is as far away perfect as you can come, because you're missing out a whole lot. A lot of classical music goes up to 25 kilohertz and goes as low as 16 hertz. So you see, the only thing, let me not offend the country music fans. If you're listening to country music, you are lacking a lot. So, what is Klipsch heresy good for? Well, they're good for being an icon speaker, standing in pictures and almost like a model. Looks nice on picture, but worthless otherwise. So, how can it be that people really say, oh, these are the greatest speakers ever? Oh, I would prefer these over these. It's a brand thing. It's a fan thing. It's because someone in the past said something and people are picking it up, and it's almost like inheriting bad habits, and that's what it is. If you like the Klipsch heritage, you are inheriting bad habits. Because you're listening to music halfway. You're listening to an incomplete speaker. So, like I said, if you're listening to jazz, maybe you're just lacking a little. Because jazz has some songs that are very, very focused on the mids and the highs. And some jazz songs goes low. So sometimes it depends on what jazz song you pick. So if you have a Klipsch heritage speaker, you probably have a very narrow music collection. Because you can't listen to the other stuff because you are lacking out a lot. And like I said, Klipsch heritage is incomplete speaker. It's a piece of crap to use to listen to because you're missing out everything. You're not listening to a music recording the way it was recorded or intended to be heard by the producers and the artists. So, should we take the people who like these heresies serious when they say they're the best speakers? They have a one-track mind, and whatever you say, there's nothing gonna change. But the facts speaks louder than anything else. And the facts given to us by Klipsch states that this speaker is incomplete and not intended to use as a stereo speaker to reproduce music. It is intended to be used as a center speaker to accommodate another speaker. So you see, it's not even a compromise. It is just you're making a bad choice, a bad decision. Or is it because of you don't know better? Oh, maybe that's it. People who really, really like heresies and put these on top of everything else have a lack of understanding of what they're missing out and what music is all about. Nah, can't be that. I mean, the speaker reproduce sounds between 50 hertz and 17 kilohertz. So they reproduce something. That's it. They just like Diana Krall a cappella or some other female artist singing without any instruments. That's it. That's what it is. Huh? Talk about a fine schmacker of a speaker, huh? Well, let me put it like this. If you look at most of the vintage Klipsches, a lot of them have a very, very high cutoff. So most vintage Klipsch models are incomplete speakers. Huh. No wonder they suck. No wonder they're crap. So, I guess the worst speaker company of in the history might be Klipsch. Yeah, sure, they made a model or two that sounded maybe good. Maybe they have some models that are new now that sounds okay. I wouldn't say anything special. I heard a lot of them. But if we go back in time and we look at the vintage stuff that was put out, they certainly lack a lot. So if they lack a lot, and they don't cover the music the way it was recorded, well, then it's an incomplete speaker, and it's not reproducing the sound correctly. When something is not done correctly, it's done incorrectly, which means bad. So it's a bad speaker. Exactly. Klipsch is a pair of suckers who sounds very good in one area. They do a good job right there. Everything else is just like water under the bridge. it's kind of like annoying just to listen to one specific area of the music that is good. And you sit there and you know that you're missing out on the top and the bottom. Huh. And people like that? I guess that tells you a lot about knowledge, taste, and bandwagon. They are just on a bandwagon. That's what it is. Because there's no way in hell that Klipsch is a good speaker. With such an incomplete frequency range, it's not a good speaker. You see, you're missing out so much of the information. It's like you have a CD of a band, and when you put it on and you start playing and you're listening to it through your heresy speakers, you can take the drummer out of the band because you don't need him, because you don't hear him. And if you have a singer that really sings in 5 octaves, well, put a gag on him because you only hear part of what it's saying or singing. And the drummer is not hitting his cymbals up there high up in the above 17 kilohertz, or any other instrument, or a guitar. So if a guitar player is playing a solo, he's only playing half the solo on your speakers. Okay, so when you're listening to heresy, and let's say you put on some rock band, metal band, or whatever, you're only listening to part of the group. So you're only getting part of the guitar solos. You're only getting part of the vocals, if the singer can go 5 octaves, like a lot of singers do. And you for sure can take the drummer out, then, because you won't hear a lot of him. You maybe hear the snare drum, but you won't hear the toms and the kick and the bass drums and the lower tones from the drummer, or some of the cymbals you won't hear. You see what you're doing when you're listening to this Klipsch heresy and you promote them as the best? You're basically saying that listening to half of the music is okay. Half of the music that was recorded. How stupid is that? Final word is Klipsch sucks. Especially Klipsch heresy. They suck big time. They're crap. They're incomplete speakers. And that's the final word.